Yo, what's going on, guys? Soulbreaker2 back here with another one. So, as all of you know, started up the new Venture season. We got dungeons back. We got so much stuff in Save the World. Obviously, none of it's new. Flannel Falls was the very first Venture Zone. They just cycled it back. And dungeons have been around since who knows how long. But I'm going to cover a few things you guys absolutely need to know during this season of Ventures. There's a new event, new tickets. You're able to get the double jump in the or triple jump in the shop right now. You're able to get a few tips and tricks for leveling up in the Venture season, and I'm going to show you guys the build I personally use for dungeons, as well as one that I have a lot of my friends use as well. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, first off, if we head over to our command, the first thing I want to show you guys is for dungeons. Now, this isn't like over the top amazing. It has a pretty long cooldown, but in dungeons, you're traveling around a lot. So it takes about 30 seconds to get the minigun back up, which is plenty of time for you to make it to the next area and destroy the next monolith. So before I continue talking about this build, let's explain what dungeons are and how to do them. I'll try and get some gameplay and put it over top of this, but dungeons are honestly pretty fun. It's my favorite event. Dungeons allow you to go through the dungeon, and you have to destroy monoliths. If you've ever played OG Fortnite, those are the things that used to spawn the zombies in Battle Royale. And if you go in the creative, you can get those from there as well. They pop up every Fortnitemares in Battle Royale. It's just those weird purple things. I'll try and show it on the screen. After you destroy that, you have a chance to drop the key. In order to move on to the next zone in dungeons, you need 2 keys, one of which is the skeleton key, I believe it's called, and you have to just find it. It'll be randomly on the dungeon, but it'll show up on your map. So if you look at your mini-map or you pull up your map, you'll be able to see where it's at in the dungeon, and you can just go search for it, pick it up, and then continue on. But in order to get through the gate, you need a second key, which, as we were talking, is going to be that monolith stuff. Once you destroy 3 monoliths in a zone, the third one you destroy will drop the key. So then you can just walk over, pick it up, and continue on. After you have both keys, it should point an arrow or light up the area you need to go, so that way you know where to head and open the gate. And this build that I have allows us to destroy everything pretty easily, as well as at the end of the dungeons, you have a mini-boss. Depending on what type of dungeon you do, you're going to have a different mini-boss. There's one that has 2 smashers, there's one that has a taker, and I think blasters in one as well. So I personally run, if we head over to our dungeon map, I personally run the crypts. Inferno is a little bit more difficult. I believe it has 2 blasters at the end. I typically run crypts just because I know the map perfectly and it's super easy. The lab, I'm not too sure what's in the lab. But I also don't see the grotto. Normally there's the grotto, there's the crypts, and Inferno. Don't really see them. I guess we're just only with the lab, crypts, and Inferno this season. Now that we have a little bit of background to what dungeons are, we can explain how this build works. So, in my opinion, Diecast Jonesy is by far the best soldier to use when you want the minigun. We can see when he's in the commander, he's going to increase the damage by 50% and also change the energy type to energy. This allows for when we shoot something, if it's a smasher, if it's a different element, husk, whatever, it's going to do tons of damage. Typically, your minigun is only physical, so by having diecast, we're going to be allowed to hit the husks pretty hard. Now, we are going to have to sacrifice a little bit of damage to the monoliths because of this, as the monoliths are physical. If you look at them, they don't have any energy type to them, so they just are physical. Physical will do the most damage to them. However, you want to be energy because when you get to the end of your zone and you're killing that mini-boss, that's the final boss. The mini-boss is the final thing you need to kill to complete dungeons, and after you complete it, it'll drop tons of gold and end the dungeon. In order to do that, you're going to need as much damage as you can, and you're going to need a special element, because oftentimes they're not going to be physical. So it's best if we use the energy damage type and get this bonus 50% damage. We can also look at the class perks, and consecutive shots against the same target deal an additional 3% up to 5 stacks. So that means if we're fighting the mini boss and we hit him consecutively, we're going to get 3, 6, 9, 12, 15% extra. So now we're doing a total of about 65% extra damage, and we have energy, which is going to cause us to do extra damage to the mini boss. I recommend running Adrenaline Rush because in dungeons, if you die, you have to go back to the beginning and respawn at the temple. It only gets one use. So if you die and you already use it and then you die a second time, your dungeon is over. So I highly recommend Adrenaline Rush so you can keep yourself alive. And the higher the level, the better, because it's just going to give you extra health. Now, for your second perk, it really is... It goes both ways. You can use Stationary Hover Turret, so that way you can throw it down and kill all of the nearby husks while you're focused on mini-boss, and then they'll also focus on mini-boss as well. Or, you can run Slow Field, which is going to reduce the speed of the mini-boss, so they're going to be stuck in a spot while you pull out the minigun and just fire away. This lets you hit the consecutive shots, dealing the extra 60 or extra 15% damage. So now we're doing 65% bonus damage. We have energy types, so we're ruining the boss, and he can't move to get to us. The only downside to this is you're gonna have to run in circles to make sure he stays in the in the slow field. But to me, I think it's a lot more useful to run hover turret, just because I can throw it down and I don't have to worry about nearby husks coming up and killing me. Plus, a thing many people don't know, you can actually cancel your hero abilities. So if we look, we have these 3 abilities. Warcry, I believe if you're on controller, it's both bumpers at the same time. Frag Grenade is left trigger and right bumper, and Going Commando is right bumper and right trigger, or vice versa. For PC, you can customize them, thanks to Epic being, better with PC. But if you're on controller, you're unfortunately stuck to those. But whatever it is to activate it, you can always press the same keybinds and it'll stop your hero ability. Alright, next up, we've got the Flannel Falls Adventure Zone back. Now, you're going to see I'm level 1. I have not played Save the World at all. I can still tell you guys easy ways to level up, because I hit level 50 last Venture season. If you guys looked at streams at all, I was doing Venture carries. So once I hit max level again, stay tuned for that. But everybody always focuses on just doing whatever mission. If you look, we can see we have a bonus 2600 XP. We have a bonus 2600 XP. Bonus 2175. The higher power level the mission, the more bonus XP you will get for completing the mission. And you're also going to want to focus on 4-player missions. As you can see, it gives us that bonus 2650, but we also get a 2 times Venture's XP, and compared to a normal mission, only gets you 1 Venture XP. It's going to allow for you to get, I believe, like 15,000 XP or something. I'm not 100% sure on what it is, but it's going to let you get so much more XP because you have a 2 times, and then you have that bonus 2650. They just come into their quest log, because this is the best way to level up. Outside of doing all of these extra 4 players and the higher power level zones, this is the next best way to level up, by simply doing your quests. I mean, they're pretty easy. Most of the time you complete these just from playing the game. Like, complete a mission, that's easy. Eliminate basic and husky husks, that's easy. You can place down a few traps and go AFK or run an encampment, and then you'll pretty much kill all of them. Destroy beds. If you have a xenon bow or a minigun, you can fire the xenon bow into a house, and if it hits anything, it'll destroy it. As well as if you have a minigun, you're an outlander, whatever, just fire at the house and destroy the house, and it'll collect it for you as well. If you run around the minimap, you'll also see exclamation marks around the minimap as you get near it, and that'll tell you, hey, you have a quest item here. And it tells you the exact spot you need to go for it. So it's kind of a cheat hack. You can either run around and look for the yellow exclamation marks that pop up, or just fire xenon bows around the map and wait till you hit some. That's personally what I do, and it works perfectly. Now, for eliminate husks with ranged weapons, this isn't going to stay as ranged weapons. It'll rotate. You'll have ranged weapons, pistols, ARs, shotguns. You'll have melees. It's just going to rotate as you get higher and higher, and it's going to require it to be different types, or it's going to require different weapons, different traps, all of that stuff. This is a pretty easy one to complete if you get a good weapon. Worst thing, you just keep repairing your weapons at the repair stations. So many people see them, but then don't repair their weapons, and I see xenon bows or rocket launchers break. Please repair your weapons if they're a good weapon. And lastly, you have the garden gnomes. This is basically the same as this one that says destroy beds. You're going to have to destroy different stuff. You're going to have to rescue survivors. All of that kind of... It's not really fun, let's be real. It's such a tedious and annoying process to do this every single season. But luckily, we have about like 4 to 6 months or something to do ventures. I'm probably wrong, but you have a long period of time. They hit level 50 because they were just focused on 4 players and high power level missions, because you can level up with only that. But you miss out on superchargers by doing that. If you look at your quest log and your ventures, these get you so much stuff. Like when you get to the 140s, because it's going to have a mission requirement all the time. You won't be able to camp in your power level 15 zone and just kill easy husks. It's going to have a power level requirement after you complete the first one. Once you get to where it requires you to be in a power level 140 zone, it's going to be amazing. They're going to be really difficult, but you can gain superchargers off of them. So you're going to get a bonus to like 1 to 3 superchargers by completing all of these quests each. Alright, the third thing I wanted to talk about, if we head over to the llama shop, you're going to start off on X-Ray, but if we come over to items, you can look at Wukong for 3,200. So many people don't know this, because if you look at Wukong, he's a soldier. So what? He's a soldier, it doesn't matter, he's not going to give us anything, because if we look at his bonuses, all he does, every 6 weapon elims, it triggers an explosion. That's good for killing with ranged weapons, but it's only good for crowd clearing, and if you're crowd clearing, you might as well just use a rocket launcher. The other thing people don't know is in order to get triple jump, if I look at one of my perks, I can come in here, Soaring Mantis right here. So it tells you need 3 ninjas in your loadout, and then it's going to give you an additional 2 jumps. Now personally, I run Blast from the Past constantly because you get the increased health. But for newer players, Soaring Mantis will make it so much easier. As well as if you're getting carried in the MSK, I highly recommend you use Soaring Mantis, because you're going to be able to dodge all of the meteors, dodge husks, all of that fun stuff, and keep yourself alive. That's the main thing for MSK, is to stay alive, so you can place down heal pads for the people carrying you, build bridges, all of that stuff. But how do you get it? Is it from getting links? Is it from getting a dinosaur? From getting survivalist? Nobody knows, because you don't guess it. It's from getting Wukong. I have 2 of him already, so I won't be buying him this season. I don't see the point in it. But if you buy him and you don't have him already, sure, he's a good hero overall. Pretty good stats and whatnot. But the best thing about him is that he gives you the Soaring Mantis team perk. It's so odd because he's a soldier and has nothing to do with Soaring Mantis. But it's so cool because you can get him and get the triple jump. I think he's the only soldier, I might be wrong. I think he's the only one that gives you Soaring Mantis, and that's what I know and was always taught. So it's possible I'm wrong, but from what I know, you have to have it. If you don't get Wukong this season, you're not getting triple jump. The other thing you'd have to do is come into Armory, your collection book, and then go find him in here and slot him out. Why would you want to use one of your vouchers or your flux on him when you can just use 3,200 gold? That leads us right into the next thing. So many people tell me, well, I don't have the gold for this. And right now I'm getting a little low too. I kind of bought out everything, and now I'm only at 5k gold. If I need gold, I can head over to the quest log. If I check out dungeons, and I just scroll through here, it doesn't tell you anything about too much gold. But once you start clicking, 100 gold. Tickets, 250. Bunch of tickets right there. You get some heroes, 1k gold. 250, 100, 100, and then Swamp Knight, who is a really good hero you need. We'll talk about him in a little bit. And 150 gold. Just by completing some of these dungeons, which, by the way, you're going to complete these on your own. You're going to be able to get your Lunar Tickets and your gold. This is honestly amazing because doing this gets you so much stuff. You get a banner, gold, tickets, more golden tickets, gold tickets. It's so useful because you can just run dungeons for fun with your friends. Try and speed run it, see who can get the fastest time. Try all of this cool stuff, and then it's going to get you stuff. Like, even you get the cool dungeons banner. Or, I mean, loading screen. Who doesn't want the dungeons loading screen? It's such a cool loading screen. Like, I loved it. My buddy uses it for everything. You'll see him queue into Battle Royale, and he's still using the dungeons banner. Dungeons is such a good thing. Like, right here we can see, got a grotto. Complete a mission in grotto dungeon. It's so easy. Why wouldn't you want to do this stuff? They're not difficult. And if you use this hero build I just gave you guys, let's scroll back over. You're using this build, or for those of you who prefer the pistols, you can also use Carbide. So none of these things are going to match Carbide because it's a minigun build. If you guys want to see this, let me know, and I'll post it in the Discord or YouTube short or something for you guys to copy. But I can make a Carbide build for you. Carbide allows you to shoot the pistols basically wherever. It'll tell you right here. It applies Affliction, which deals 26 base energy damage. So it's not insane amount of damage, but it adds up super fast. And then it fires piercing and bouncing lasers. So if you shoot these, it's going to ruin the monolith. It's going to ruin all of the husks in the area. It's going to bounce around the end room and just hit the mini bosses like crazy. It's really useful. I just prefer the minigun over the pistols. But if you're running with a friend, you can have him run Carbide, you run minigun, or vice versa. Like, if you guys want to get into this game and be better at this game, I highly recommend this is the season you do it. You're going to be able to get infinite gold, infinite lunar tickets, and it's going to be useful. But the next thing that's going to lead us into for dungeons is the Swamp Knight. Honestly, Swamp Knight is probably one of the best heroes you can use in dungeon, because when you get to the final area and you get hit by the mini boss and you lose all of your health, right here, increase damage to mist monsters by up to 42% based on the percentage of your missing health. If you are about to die and you have a heal pad next to you, you can let them get you super low, so that way you're doing extra damage to your mist monster at the end, because all of the mini bosses at the end are mist monsters. You'll never have to worry about anything else. So if you're running him in your loadout and you're dealing damage, then you take some damage. That's good, because now you're doing extra damage. You can walk over, hit the heal pad, get back up, keep firing, and then take more damage and go. That way you can just heal whenever you're about to die, but you're getting the extra damage bonus for just playing the game. Nobody doesn't take any damage in dungeons. It's quite literally almost impossible. You're going to take damage. So if you chill at like the 50% health, and you're going to be doing like 20% extra damage, I believe, like, why not do that? It's so useful for killing the mini boss. And to get him, the only thing you have to be doing is coming into your quest log, looking at ventures and seeing, oh, not ventures, dungeons, and seeing complete 2 missions in the Crypts dungeon. Well, okay, but how do I complete 2 missions in the Crypts dungeon? Well, I can look here, and I can see, do any of these say Crypts? And I just go through and find them. Let's see, get snared by a snare dungeon trap. That means all you have to do is find the snare dungeon trap and get hit by it. I think that one is the trap. It looks like an actual trap. It sits on the floor, and it glows purple. So it's going to be underneath a floor, and then when you get near it, the floor will break, and it'll show it. If you walk into it, you're going to get caught, and you won't be able to move until you kill the, it's the blue glow guy from your missions. I forget his name, but if you kill that, like, blue glow minion, you're then going to be able to get free from the trap, and you'll also complete this challenge. That's one way to do it. Another one, you can just look through here, find some of the easy ones. Like, if you have a daily that says completed crypts, that's probably your easiest way to do it. But that's 2 heroes that you can get from this season that are kind of only got from this season. You can't really get either Wukong or Swamp Knight from this stuff if you don't try and do it. You just have to play the game, throw yourself out there. It's so fun, so many resources. Just make sure you give it a shot. But here is how you're going to get Carbide. If we look over here, you can see you can get either the Silent Spectre, crossbow, all of that stuff, which I recommend you get the Silent Spectre. That's probably the best gun you can get from this, and it's one of the best SMGs in the game. The next thing you can get is Carbide, which is insanely useful. If you don't get Carbide, you're going to be missing out. I highly recommend you get him. And if you don't want to use him, at least get him for the collection book. Same for Fallen Star. I don't think I've ever used him in my loadouts, but I wanted him just for the collection book. You can also get these heroes right here, which are more limited time heroes. You'll only be able to get one, which means the next time Blockbuster comes back, you're going to have to play again to get the others. And I believe there's one of every type except for Ninja. That's because... Oh, no, there is a Ninja. So, yeah, there's one of every type. There's 4 different guys you can collect. If we scroll through here, just to show you guys when you can get these, on the second page, you can get one of these. I would recommend going with the Silent Spectre, but if you already have it, go with one of the others for the collection book. And then if we keep going on, we're now on page 5, and we can get Carbide. Pretty useful stuff. If we're already on page 5, that's about, what, 13 to 16, maybe 19 quests, and we got Carbide. And if we keep going on, Fallen Star is on page 8, and on the final page, you get the choice between one of these guys. Now, it really is up to you. I don't remember what their abilities are, but it's up to you on what you want to pick. Personally, I never used them. I just wanted them for the collection book, so I just went with whatever I needed to have still. But as you can see, Blockbusters aren't that bad. Like, if we scroll all the way to the beginning, the first one, we should probably investigate that massive explosion. You can play this on Fill. If I hit Team Fill, and I hit Play Now, it takes you where you need to go. You can do this in any mission, so why not do it? I could get my 160s weekly quest done while I'm doing Blockbuster, or I could be like, no, I don't want to do too much work, and go on a Stonewood mission, place down 2 traps and a constructor for these, and I'll be fine. Some of these, however, will require you to be in special zones. Yeah, but I haven't played Blockbusters in a long time, but it's probably one of my favorite, yet it is also one of the longest quests that are out there. So, if you guys are down for that, I highly recommend you do it. But it's also super long, so I just want to let you guys know beforehand. That way you're not getting halfway through and you're like, man, Soul told me to do this, but this is so boring. I now hate that guy. I hope y'all don't hate me, but it is so boring. I'm not going to lie to you. And if you guys ever tune into streams or whatnot, I will be honest with you and tell you I'm not going to lie. This is hard. This is difficult. This is easy. I'm going to straight up tell it to you guys. If that harms you or hurts your feelings, then I apologize, but I just don't want you guys to shy away from things or give it a shot and then be like, man, this was difficult. Why did Soul tell me this was easy? Because I know it's not easy. I'm not going to tell you it is if it's not. That's it for this episode. I believe we covered everything, so like I said, if we didn't, and for some reason I'm missing something, we covered dungeons, we covered the ventures, we covered how to get double jump and triple jump, we covered all of this cool stuff. If I forgot something, I'll make another video, YouTube short, something like that, or I'll post it in the Discord. So make sure you guys join the Discord. Link is in the description below. Because if you don't, you might miss out on some of this stuff, and you're also not finding out on when these uploads go live. Another thing is to find out when these go live. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button to tell me you guys enjoyed, and turn on that notification bell. What are you guys doing? How are you supposed to know when I go live and I'm doing giveaways or when I'm posting a new video? Come on, guys. But that's it for this episode, so I hope y'all are doing all right. And without further ado, I'll catch y'all in the next one.